You someone who struggles setting boundaries and you feel like you're taken advantage of, or you feel like you're a bit all over the place. Well, today I'm going to talk about the power of boundaries and what you can start to do to look at this. Okay, so thank you for being here. My experience with boundaries is I got pretty strong ones up now. There's always work, there's always something like, that hurt me a little bit. Maybe that's a boundary I need to add in, right? Or someone did something. Like today, for example, I've got a good friend, a really good friend, and this friend failed to show up for a call with me. And that's okay, right? Things happen, right? Totally cool. And then failed again and again. And I was like, look, I'm not going to take another call with you. And I find I'd appreciate a little bit more, you know, communication in this instance. And that for me is like not exploding, not being like over the top. It's just like expressing it, and it's out of self love for me. And I teach people how to treat me, right? So that's something I can do now. Now, there was a point where I'd just be like, I remember being a kid, and like when the boys lost my ball, like the football or whatever, I was always the guy who had to go and sort out his own stuff because people would take advantage of my stuff, right? I would do things for anyone without saying no. Like, I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't have any belief in myself. I was like trying to get approval from other people all the time. Now I'm pretty strong, right? And it's something I'm always a work in progress. I've learned from dating and relationships, those are particularly really strong where you need to put boundaries in place. Not like to everything, because that just gonna make the other person miserable and you miserable, quite honestly, in my view. But like when you go through experiences, particularly in like intimate relationships, for me, it's been an education where you got to put boundaries in place, right? And particularly in the past, and I've not always done that well, and it's always an education. Now, what I find with boundaries, before I go on to that, I want to mention actually that if you're a man and you're looking to up level your game, you really want to grow in your personal, professional life, then I've got three opportunities to work with three guys, personally one-on-one with me for a crazy, crazy deal. All you got to do is message me the word growth to my social media, jonnycpardoe on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. I will leave those links in the show notes below. Message me the word growth. So it's essential for self-love, as I'll say, boundaries, because if you can't love yourself, how can you expect other people to truly love you? And that starts with, a lot of work on yourself, but boundaries for me is an essential one. How does it help you by like having minimal or hardly any boundaries and you're like, feel like walked over, feel exhausted by life? Well, if you're anything like me, it didn't do me any favors. So I want to talk about boundaries today. So here's some tips that I found really useful. Number one, write some boundaries for yourself. Like for you to follow your own boundaries. This excludes everyone else on the planet, right? This is just you and you, right? By the way, I'm not saying isolate yourself. I'm just saying this starts at the foundation of you, right? What are the boundaries you're going to put in place for yourself? Because you need standards for yourself. Like, okay, you're going to do it's standards and boundaries. It's like, okay, I'm going to do, and don't make it too complicated. Keep it simple. Like, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this is what I don't do, right? So if you're giving up something or reducing something, you're like, okay, my boundary on that food or that drink is going to be this, and make sure it's realistic and you can stick to it. So set yourself some clear boundaries. Don't put too many in, because if you put too many in, you may start well, but you'll get exhausted in your brain. So be very clear on your boundaries for yourself. Just set them. What are the thing, and it can really help with like what are the things that really impact you emotionally and or physically. Emotionally, it's like maybe if like this has been a big one for me, social media like really drains you. If you like, it can be really great to connect with people, but if it like drains you through doom scrolling, what's a boundary you need to put in place for yourself to reduce it? I have certain slots where I go on social media now, right? And one of them, by the way, is not first thing in the morning, because that's going to drain you and your energy for the rest of the day, right? So what are the boundaries you can put in for yourself you need to do? What are the real things you need to do? Because you need to put that in place before you start talking about your relationship with other people, because that's the most essential relationship, the one with you. So put the boundaries in place for yourself, not out of like discipline, you must do this, but this is discipline out of love for yourself so you can flourish. The second point is boundaries for other people. What are the boundaries you need to put for other people, right? And if it's a little bit scary at first, that's good because you're moving and you don't have to do a massive jump. But first of all, just list the things that really maybe irritate you or you can't really tolerate, or if you had a choice, you'd say no to them. And just again, list a few. For me, a clear boundary, depending on the relationship with the person, like for me, communication is a key one. And I'm going to be honest, it's something I've learned over time with dating and intimate relationships in particular. Like, I don't expect and I cannot commit to messaging or calling every minute of the day, right? No one can, right? Okay, that's not what's going to happen. But also, I've learned over time, for me, when someone's like, oh, sorry, I've been really hectic and I haven't been able to get back to you for a few days, it's always good to check they've got an emergency or what's going on. Not check they've got an emergency, but check what's going on. They may have an emergency, you never know. But if I'm getting that and no real reason, and definitely if it's happening like more than once, that for me is a massive boundary. It's like, look, okay, cool. And this may be a close friend, it might be dating, it may be an intimate relationship. But if it's like someone I'm trying to communicate to and they're just like not communicating back and they're using excuses like I'm busy, which is a word I've banned because it takes 5 seconds to reply to someone. So for me, putting a clear boundary in place of like, look, I feel like there's something going on. Could I just check what's going on? Oh yeah, I just got a bit hectic. Okay, cool. It would have been great to know, in a polite way, you do this in the right way, in the right time. I can coach you through this a bit more. But like, but great to know, just a quick update. I understand you're busy, but like, I've had people like be like, oh yeah, I forgot to get back to you. And they've kind of given me messages in different kinds of relationships in my life. So for me, that's a big one. Communication is key. Respect is a good one. If there's any kind of disrespect towards me, that's like a clear boundary for me. That's a little bit disrespectful. I was in the pub with my mates a few months back, and like I'm all up for a laugh. I'm always like, yeah. And I tend to not like mock or other people too much. Like, it might be a bit of banter, as guys call it, and things like that. But I don't mind it at me. Certainly don't mind it at me. I do a lot of crazy, stupid stuff, so I can take it. But like, there was something the lads said, and I was like, 2 of them said, and I was just like, no, that's a bit over the top. And then they were like, they looked at me, they apologized, and we shook hands. And that's just like respect, right? And I appreciate it. I said, thank you guys, right? So knowing what are your boundaries, what are things that you're going to say no, list them down first of all, and then be like, right, how can I take a small bit of action? How can I take a small bit of action in terms of my boundaries, right? It doesn't have to be a massive one. Now, I've got a few more points I want to add. I want to mention again, though, that if you're a man and you want to work personally with me one-to-one in coaching, I have an opportunity for you. Only for 3 guys, and this is a very short-term offer. I may not be doing this. I won't be doing this in a few weeks, so get in quickly. And this is for your personal and or professional life. If you really want to up-level your game, message me the word growth on social media, jonnycpardoe, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and multiple other platforms. So it's a crazy offer. So I'll speak to you soon. Okay, my third point I want to share is the third point rather than fourth, isn't it? Yeah. So the third point is review regularly. Review regularly your boundaries, because if you're like, I forgot what my boundaries are, well, it's hard to enforce them, isn't it? So just writing them down and reading them, This is a very simple point. It's very, very effective, I found. And then the fourth one is, I'm losing count already. It's been a long day. But it's been an exciting day. There we go with language. Act on your boundaries, right? Like I was kind of touching on it earlier, but it doesn't have to be a massive leap of like, right, you're going to shout at the top of the rooftops, these are my boundaries. No, it's just like someone, you don't like someone cutting the queue. You can just say, oh, excuse me, the queue's back there, or something like that. It's just a small action, although that can be a bit scary to some people. And then the fifth point is celebrate. Celebrate every time you live by one of your boundaries, because the more you celebrate, the more you're going to do of it. So those are my points on setting boundaries today. Okay, so 1, set boundaries for yourself. 2, set boundaries for others. 3 is review them regularly. 4 is act on them, even if it's small acts. And 5 is celebrate. So I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.